So I have a new app for our planbook.com, and it's very cool for me because I've always found it hard to review the lesson plans based on the technology that we're using, because I have a family and I like to be at home when I do a lot of my work. And so I wanted to show you that I have this very cool new app for a plan book. So it's super easy for me to pull up your lesson plans and review them. And then these are Alyssa's right now. So and each person's lesson plans are, some of you go super in depth, some of you are minimalists, and that's totally fine too. But what I really have been looking for, and I've been leaving a lot of comments on your lesson plans, I'm trying to get myself into a good routine. What my initial goal was to see everybody's lesson plans for like 2 weeks in a row. I looked at everybody's, and then now I'm in a routine where I'm going through the top half of the list, and then the second week I'm going through the bottom half of the list. And so that's my goal, is that every week I'm seeing half of the staff's lesson plan. That being said, one thing that I've noticed is that everybody sort of does their lesson plans a little different. Not a problem. I really don't care. But what I do want to see is objectives. And you can do objective. You can write that there, or you can do a SWBAT, which is students will be able to. And you can just use the acronym for that, SWBAT. I have been harping on some of you about this because I know what it's like to teach, and I know in the classroom that if you don't go in ahead of time knowing what you want your kids to get out of your lesson, that it's really hard to stay on task and to meet that goal during that lesson time. Because if you didn't have a goal, how can you meet the goal? And then how can you assess whether or not you did what you were seeking to do with the kids, or what you were planning on teaching them? So I am going to be a stickler this year about you doing your lesson plans and showing me your lesson objectives. You do not need to write the standards and benchmarks that you're pulling these things from. We're not there as a system. That's your responsibility as a teacher, as a professional, to be making sure that you are meeting your standards and benchmarks. There's no formal checklist that we're all going through together, or that you have to even turn in. So I feel like with the very minimal amount of requirements that I give you as teachers for accountability, this piece is something that I have to see. I have to see you putting this in your lesson plans. If you're not doing it, I have left you messages. And if you're not responding to my messages and you're not making changes on those, I'm either writing to you individually, I'm writing you individual emails, letting you know that I'm giving you a certain length of time to address that issue. And if you don't address the issue by the length of time that I've given you, then it's going to end up being a growth plan for you in that particular area. It's very straightforward. What's your objective, or what your students will be able to for each individual lesson? The other area that I would like to see reflected on your content is I would like to see at least where are you in the materials that you're using. Not because I expect that you're going from beginning to end, because good teaching doesn't necessarily always look like that, but because I want to make sure that you know where you are, and I know where you are, and what progress is being made. In the end, the lesson plans are legal documents, so I want to make sure that we always have good reference materials to go back to prove that you actually, we have proof that you taught what you said you were going to teach. I know it's happening because I see it every day. But in 5 years, if someone has an issue and they want us to go back and prove it, prove what was taught, the lesson plan is what we would look to, and that's what would that's why you have to turn them in at the end of every year. That's why we have to hold on to them. So you doing your part really helps. I don't expect you to spend a ton of time on your lesson plans. I have a family too. I know what it's to have other things. But if you at least are going into your lessons with, what do I want my kids to get out of this particular lesson? And it can be one objective, it can be two objectives. It does not have to be a list of 5. About this particular topic, please let me know.